Right now, as you're watching this, millions of retirees across America are quietly receiving money they were wrongfully denied for years, some of it going back decades. If you worked as a teacher, a firefighter, a police officer, or any kind of public servant, what I'm about to share could mean thousands of extra dollars showing up in your account. Stay with me, friend, because this one is important. Hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss an update like this, and drop a comment below telling me how long you've been retired. I read every single one. Now, let me take you back for just a moment. Imagine spending 30 years of your life showing up every single day, grading papers until midnight, rushing into burning buildings, keeping neighborhoods safe, all while knowing that when retirement finally came, your Social Security check would be smaller than your neighbor's, even though you paid into the system just like everyone else. For millions of dedicated Americans, that wasn't a nightmare. That was their reality. And for far too long, Washington called it policy. Well, friends, something remarkable happened in early 2025 that most mainstream media barely paused to celebrate. Congress passed, and the President signed into law, the Social Security Fairness Act. And I want to say that slowly, because it matters, the Social Security Fairness Act. This wasn't a proposal. This wasn't a committee recommendation. This became the law of the land. And what it does is nothing short of historic for public servants across this country. You see, for years there were two provisions buried deep inside Social Security rules that quietly chipped away at the benefits of government workers. The first was called the Windfall Elimination Provision, or WEP. The second was the Government Pension Offset, known as GPO. Now, I know those sound like something out of a government tax manual, and honestly, they kind of were. But here's what they actually did in plain English: if you received a pension from a job that didn't pay into Social Security, like many state and local government positions, these provisions would reduce your Social Security benefits. Sometimes dramatically. Some retirees lost hundreds of dollars every single month because of these rules. Teachers in states like California, Texas, and Illinois were hit particularly hard. So were certain firefighters, police officers, and federal employees under older retirement systems. The Social Security Fairness Act eliminates both of these provisions entirely. Gone. Done. And for those of you who were already affected, meaning your benefits were already being reduced, the Social Security Administration began paying out retroactive benefits in early 2026. Most of those one-time retroactive payments were processed by late March of this year. So if you are a retired public servant and you haven't seen a change in your benefit amount or received a retroactive payment yet, don't panic. The SSA processed these payments in batches, incrementally throughout the spring. Their official guidance is to wait until April or May before reaching out to them directly, and we are right in that window now. If you believe you qualify but haven't seen anything yet, I want to encourage you to be patient just a little longer, and then pick up the phone or visit ssa.gov to check on your status. The number to reach the SSA directly is 1-800-772-1213, and they do have representatives who specialize in exactly these kinds of cases. You've waited long enough, and you deserve every single dollar that's owed to you. Now, while the Fairness Act is the big headline, let's talk about some other changes that have already quietly taken effect in 2026, because these matter too, even if they didn't come with as much fanfare. First, the cost of living adjustment, what most of us know as COLA, came in at 2.8% starting January 2026. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, that doesn't sound like much. And I understand that feeling, especially when you're watching grocery prices and prescription costs. But a 2.8% increase on the average Social Security benefit of around $1,900 a month means roughly an extra $53 per month, and over the course of a full year, that's more than $630 back in your pocket. Every bit counts, especially when you're on a fixed income. Second, for those of you who are under your full retirement age and still working, maybe part-time at a job you love, or keeping busy at a small business, the earnings limit has gone up as well. In 2026, you can now earn up to $24,480 per year before Social Security starts temporarily withholding part of your benefit. That's up from $23,400 in 2025. It's not a massive jump, but it gives working seniors a little more breathing room, and that's always welcome. And here's one that might surprise you: the maximum possible monthly Social Security benefit at full retirement age has now reached $4,152 per month in 2026. That's for individuals who worked high-earning jobs for at least 35 years and waited until their full retirement age to claim. It's a milestone number, and it tells you that the system, despite its flaws, does continue to grow. Now I want to talk about something that is a little more sobering, because I believe in giving you the full picture, not just the good news. There are reports indicating that the temporary pause on Social Security garnishment for defaulted federal student loans may be coming to an end soon. I know, student loans in retirement. It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But there are seniors in this country who co-signed loans for children or grandchildren, or who went back to school later in life, and now find themselves carrying that federal debt into their retirement years. If that applies to you, if you have any outstanding federal student loan debt that is currently in default, please, do not wait on this one. Contact the Department of Education through studentaid.gov as soon as possible to discuss your repayment options. If garnishment resumes, the government can take up to 15% of your monthly Social Security benefit. For someone living on $1,500 a month, that's $225 gone before you even see it. There are income-driven repayment plans and rehabilitation options available, but you need to act before collections restart. This is one of those situations where being proactive makes an enormous difference. And finally, let's clear up one thing you may have seen floating around on social media or in email forwards, because I know how quickly misinformation can spread, especially when it comes to our benefits. There is currently a bill being debated in the Senate called the Social Security Expansion Act, Bill number S.770. It proposes to increase benefits and change how COLA is calculated in ways that would be more favorable to retirees. It sounds wonderful, and many advocates are fighting hard for it. But here's the truth: as of right now, it has not been signed into law. It is still being debated. It will not take effect on May 1st, despite what some headlines might suggest. So please, take those urgent-sounding posts with a grain of salt. When that bill moves forward, you will hear about it here first, with the facts, not the fear. What I want you to take away from today is this: some very real, very meaningful changes have happened, and they deserve your full attention. The Social Security Fairness Act is the most significant reform to hit this program in decades, and if you spent your career in public service, it could genuinely change your financial picture in a very meaningful way. The 2026 COLA and earnings adjustments are already in effect and working in your favor. And there are areas, like student loan garnishment, where staying informed could protect you from an unexpected financial hit. You've spent a lifetime working hard, planning carefully, and doing the right thing. And I want this channel to be a place where you always get the straight story, no sensationalism, no scare tactics, just honest, useful information delivered with respect. Because that's what you deserve. We are just about at the end of today's video, and I want to make sure we wrap up with a few key action steps you can take right now, along with some final thoughts that I hope leave you feeling informed, empowered, and just a little more at ease about what comes next. So stay right with me, because the conclusion is coming up, and it's where everything we've talked about today comes together in a way that I think you're really going to appreciate.